Well, some of you may have seen on the news or on social media this week the results of a recent study which indicate and I want a private jet too. I'm sure you saw that on the news too. Now, I share with you the results of that report because both of our readings from the lectionary this morning, the one from Deuteronomy in the Old Testament and the one from Mark in the New Testament, are about the Sabbath. And the Sabbath is a period of rest. Now, if I went out and I asked most Christians in America, how do you honor the Sabbath? How do you obey that commandment? They'll say, well, it means you go to church on Sunday. Well, that is not what it means. The commandment to honor the Sabbath does not mean to go to church on Sunday. It doesn't. Do you want to know how to honor the Sabbath? Go lie in a hammock. Go curl up on the couch with a cup of tea. Go sit on a porch swing. Go take the hand of a loved one and watch the sunset. That's how you honor the Sabbath. That's how you obey that commandment. Now, our Jewish brothers and sisters know this well. On Friday evening, they wish one another Shabbat Shalom. And Shabbat is the Hebrew word for Sabbath, time of rest. And Shalom means peace. And so on Friday evening, they're wishing one another the peace that comes from this time of rest on Saturday. I love that, Shabbat Shalom, and that's what I titled my homily this morning. But when Jerry read the words of integration and guidance for us this morning, I thought that useless happiness would be a great title. Because that really is what the Sabbath is all about. It's that time of joyful nothingness, where you're not doing anything, it's just happily being lazy and enjoying life. As the writer Wayne Muller in those words, it's a time to eat, drink, and make love. That's how you enjoy the Sabbath. That's how you honor that commandment. It is. That commandment is a very important commandment. But I would say of all the 10 commandments, it's the one that Christians in America honor and obey the least. Because we as Americans are not good at resting. We're all about doing. It's always about being plugged in. We have that Puritan American work ethic where, we've heard growing up that, idle hands are the devil's playground. And we always have to be doing, and we're not very good at just being. Now, people throughout the world, they're very different. If you've traveled to South America or Europe, you know people in the middle of the day take a siesta. The businesses shut down. It's not about making money. They shut down completely. And people go home and take naps. And you may know that in Australia and in many European countries, people get 2 months paid vacation every year. In America, the average is less than 2 weeks. So we're not good at honoring the Sabbath because we feel like we always have to be doing something. Now, the Sabbath is not a day. Because what day is it? Is it Saturday that our Jewish brothers and sisters celebrate, or is it Sunday? I mean, think about the other commandments. Do you just do them one day? Do you just say, well, I'm not going to steal and I'm not going to commit adultery on Sundays only? Okay. Okay. We are to honor and celebrate the Sabbath each and every day. God didn't make the calendar. Man made the calendar. The Sabbath is a period of rest that we should be honoring and obeying each and every day. Now, I know some of you are going to say, Pastor Sal, I can't do that. There's way too much going on in my life. I have too much to do. I can't go lie in a hammock. If I curl up on the couch with a cup of tea, I'm going to feel guilty. Well, when you do those things, I want you to remember your pastor gave you permission to do that. Because it is important. It is a time that's very sacred. It's a holy time. Because it's a time where you're remembering your wholeness, your connection with God. It's why in the reading from Deuteronomy this morning, it said, keep the Sabbath holy. It's a time of wholeness. And we heard what Jesus said in today's gospel. The Sabbath was made for humankind. It's a gift for us to honor, to enjoy this life, to just rest in God's arms. That's what it is. Now, I found online a few years ago a website that is called the Sabbath Manifesto. You can go to it, sabbathmanifesto.org. And it's an organization that encourages people to find at least one day a week where you can totally unplug. No internet, no cell phone, totally unplug and unwind and just relax and rest. And they even sell these little cell phone sleeping bags. They're little pouches with a drawstring that you put your cell phone in so that you don't get distracted by it. And you'll see on the website they have 10 core principles of the Sabbath Manifesto. And I'd like to read for you what those core principles are. Avoid technology. Connect with loved ones. Nurture your health. Get outside. Avoid commerce. Light candles. Drink wine. Eat bread. Find silence. And give back. That's how we honor the Sabbath. That's what that commandment means. It's not about going to church on Sunday. Now, we saw in today's gospel, Jesus is going to church on the Sabbath. He's going to the synagogue on the Jewish Sabbath, Saturday. And the Pharisees, the religious authorities of Jesus' time, are watching him closely. Because on the Sabbath, they had certain laws of what you could do and could not do. And as we see, Jesus cures someone, a man with a withered hand. And so the Pharisees say, aha, you're breaking the law, you're working on the Sabbath. And they report him. And this gets Jesus in trouble. But as Jesus tells them, the Sabbath was made for humankind, not humankind for the Sabbath. Meaning that the Sabbath laws are man-made. They weren't made by God. God doesn't care about man-made laws. What God cares about is that you find time throughout your day to pause and to remember God and to rest and to just relax in her loving arms. I so admire our Muslim brothers and sisters because they pause not once a day, they pause 5 times a day. They stop everything they're doing, they take out their prayer mat, and they rest with God. 5 times a day. How often do you honor the Sabbath throughout your day? Once? Twice? The front cover of your bulletin this morning says, stretch out your hand. God invites you, stretch out your hand, come follow me, and I will give you rest. In God alone, our souls find rest. That's what Scripture tells us. It's that peace that surpasses all understanding, to rest. We see that the man with the withered hand is healed on the Sabbath. Rest is a part of the healing process. Rest is a part of the creative process. It's a part of the spiritual process. Whenever we rest in God, when we be still and know that I am God, when we quiet our minds, when we calm our souls, anytime we do that, we're honoring the Sabbath. We're obeying that commandment. Now, Charles Fillmore was the co-founder of the Unity Church, and over 100 years ago, he wrote this about the Sabbath. He said, "The Sabbath is not just kept on Sunday. It is kept each and every time we enter into spiritual consciousness and we rest our thoughts of worldly things. We let go of the external observance of days because every day is the Sabbath on which we rest and retire into spirit." In other words, we practice the Sabbath each and every time we remember our connection with God and we just rest in that divine presence. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to accomplish anything. We just have to be. And so I invite you this week to find time each and every day to honor and observe the Sabbath. Throughout your day, just pause. Pause and reconnect with the truth of your being. Still your mind, calm your spirits, and experience that peace that surpasses all understanding. So to you, I say, Shabbat Shalom and Namaste.